My friends, today I want to speak to you about something powerful. It's something that many of us wrestle with, and that's the idea of progress. It's easy to become frustrated when the road ahead feels long and the results seem small. It's easy to get caught up in the fast-paced world around us. We live in a time where instant gratification is the norm, where we can get what we want with the click of a button, and where success stories often seem to unfold overnight. But here's the truth. Progress doesn't always happen in leaps and bounds. Sometimes progress is slow, it's gradual. It's a quiet and steady climb that requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to trust the process. When you're on your journey, especially if you're working toward a goal, it's important to remember that slow progress is better than no progress. Too many people become discouraged when they feel that their progress isn't happening quickly enough. They feel stuck, frustrated, or as if they're spinning their wheels. They may even think that because they're not seeing immediate results, they're failing, but nothing could be further from the truth. Progress is still progress, no matter how small or slow it may seem. We've all heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a phrase that speaks to the reality of long-term growth. The same applies to you and me. Your dreams, your goals, and your success don't happen overnight. It takes time, dedication, and effort to build something worthwhile, and the key here is to embrace the journey. Progress, even when it's slow, is still moving you in the right direction. It's human nature to compare ourselves to others. When we look around, we often see people who seem to have it all together, who appear to be achieving success at a much faster pace. It's easy to feel disheartened when you compare your beginning to someone else's middle or end. But here's what we must realize: we are all on different paths. What might look like instant success to someone else is often the result of years of hard work, setbacks, and lessons learned along the way. Slow progress allows us the time to learn the lessons we need to learn. Each small step we take is an opportunity to grow, to understand ourselves better, and to become more capable of handling the challenges that lie ahead. You can't skip over this process. You can't rush growth. Just like a seed needs time to grow into a strong tree, your goals need time to take root and flourish. If we rush or push too hard for immediate results, we might bypass critical experiences that will shape us into the person we need to become in order to truly succeed. Let's take a moment to think about the tortoise and the hare. We all know the story of the tortoise who won the race against the much faster, overconfident hare. The hare sped ahead, thinking he had plenty of time to relax and catch up later. But the tortoise, slow and steady, kept going without getting distracted or discouraged. In the end, the tortoise won. This timeless fable teaches us a valuable lesson. Consistency and persistence are more important than speed. The tortoise didn't rush, didn't burn out, didn't get overwhelmed. He simply kept moving forward, and that slow but steady progress won the race. In our lives, we sometimes feel like we need to move faster, to catch up, to compete with others. But the truth is, your path is unique, and the pace at which you travel it is up to you. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to go at your own speed. It's better to move slowly but surely than to rush and risk missing the lessons, the growth, and the depth that will sustain you in the long run. Consider a builder working on a large and complex structure. The process may take years, but every day the builder is laying the foundation, brick by brick, and making progress. It doesn't matter that the building isn't completed in one day. What matters is that each brick is an essential part of the final structure. Without each brick, there would be no building. Each action, no matter how small, is necessary to build the greater vision. The same is true for you. Every step you take toward your goal is important. Even if it feels slow, even if it feels like you're not making much progress, you are laying the groundwork for something great. We also need to remember that slow progress doesn't mean we're stuck. It doesn't mean we're failing. In fact, slow progress often indicates persistence, the ability to keep going even when things are hard. This resilience is what truly sets successful people apart. It's not the ones who achieve overnight success that last. It's the ones who keep moving, keep growing, and keep learning from every experience. As you move forward in your journey, focus on the small victories. Celebrate the fact that you're still going, even if you're not where you want to be yet. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a victory. Every piece of progress is a building block toward your greater purpose. Progress is progress, whether it's a tiny step forward or a big leap. What matters is that you're moving forward, not standing still. Remember, the road to success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Slow progress is simply part of the process. It's better to keep moving, to keep growing, and to keep evolving, even if it takes time. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and celebrate every bit of progress you make along the way. Because slow progress is still progress, and in the end, that is what will lead you to success. In life, challenges are inevitable. The path to achieving anything meaningful is rarely smooth or straightforward. And as we face obstacles, setbacks, and delays, it's easy to become disheartened. But I want you to hear me clearly today. Resilience is the key to overcoming all of this. It's not about how fast you can move or how quickly you can bounce back. It's about how long you can keep going even when things don't seem to be going your way. Resilience is what makes the difference between those who eventually succeed and those who give up along the way. Let me ask you, how do you respond when things don't go as planned? How do you act when the road gets tough, when setbacks come, or when everything seems to be working against you? The difference between success and failure is often not about how many times you fall, but about how many times you rise after you've fallen. Resilience is about the ability to endure, to keep moving forward when it feels like progress is impossible. And I want to tell you something. If you are still standing, you are making progress even if it doesn't feel like it. Let's take a moment and reflect on the nature of resilience. When we think of resilient people, we often think of those who have faced enormous challenges, people who have been through hardship and come out the other side stronger. But resilience isn't just about surviving major crises. It's about how you react to every difficulty, no matter how small. It's about how you handle life's ups and downs, how you deal with setbacks in your personal, professional, or spiritual life. Resilience is the everyday decision to keep going, even when you're not sure how much further you can go. Resilience doesn't come from avoiding hardship. It comes from learning how to face it head on. When you're struggling, it's easy to want to give up, to throw in the towel, and walk away from your dreams. But here's the thing. Hard times don't last, but resilient people do. What keeps you going is not the belief that things will always be easy, but the understanding that you have the power to endure. You might be going through a difficult season right now. You might be facing challenges that seem overwhelming, but you know what? You are stronger than you think. Every challenge you face, every difficulty you encounter is an opportunity to grow. Resilience doesn't mean that you won't feel discouraged, frustrated, or exhausted. It doesn't mean that you won't face moments of doubt or fear, but resilience means you refuse to let those moments define you. It means you push through, step by step, even when you can't see the end of the tunnel. Let's look at a simple example. Think about a plant growing in the wild. It doesn't just flourish without effort. It has to endure storms, strong winds, and changing seasons. Yet it still grows, still reaches for the sun. In the same way, you may face storms, winds of doubt, and seasons of struggle, but your growth is still happening. Resilience is the internal strength to keep pushing forward despite the external circumstances. It's the belief that no matter how hard it gets, you are capable of overcoming it. It's important to recognize that resilience doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own. Sometimes, resilience is about reaching out for support when you need it. It's about allowing others to help you through tough times. Resilience is about community, about understanding that you don't have to walk this path alone. Whether it's friends, family, mentors, or faith, there are resources around you that can help you build the strength to continue moving forward. But what happens when progress seems slow? What happens when you don't see immediate results from your efforts? This is when resilience really comes into play, because slow progress can be frustrating. You might not see the breakthrough you've been working so hard for, and that can test your patience. But this is where resilience becomes the foundation of your success. Resilience is your ability to continue moving forward, even when the results aren't visible yet. It's the decision to trust that your hard work, your persistence, your efforts are leading somewhere, even if you can't yet see the outcome. The reality is that growth often happens in the unseen moments. You may be working hard every single day, but not seeing immediate results. Don't let that fool you. Every moment you stay the course, you are building a stronger version of yourself. Every time you keep putting in effort, even when it's hard, you are strengthening your character, your skills, and your resolve. So, when progress seems slow, don't be discouraged. Instead, remember that the process itself is strengthening you. Think about an athlete training for a race. They might not see their improvement every single day. Some days might feel like they're barely making any progress at all. But with each practice, with each step, they're getting stronger, faster, and more prepared. And when the race finally comes, they will be ready because they stayed resilient through the long and sometimes difficult training process. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about growing through it. When you face challenges, you are being given the opportunity to develop resilience, patience, and perseverance. You are becoming stronger with every obstacle you overcome, and eventually all those small victories will add up. Resilience means believing that you are capable of more than you realize. It means having the faith that, even in the slowest of moments, you are moving closer to your dreams. Stay resilient, because every time you choose to keep going, even when it's tough, you are building the foundation for your future success. You are never defeated as long as you keep rising every time you fall. In a world that often values speed and instant results, it's easy to get swept up in the pressure to move quickly and achieve everything as fast as possible. We live in a society that celebrates hustle, rapid growth, and the idea of getting ahead. But here's the truth. Consistency is far more valuable than speed. In fact, it is the foundation upon which lasting success is built. Consistent action, even in small doses, has the power to bring about monumental change over time. Let's think about this for a moment. It's tempting to believe that the faster we move, the sooner we'll reach our destination, but the reality is, success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Achieving something meaningful, whether in your career, personal life, or spiritual journey, requires steady, consistent effort. The small, deliberate actions you take every day are the ones that build the momentum necessary to achieve your larger goals. It's easy to underestimate the power of small, consistent efforts. We often want to see immediate results, and when we don't, we can become discouraged. But slow, steady progress is what compounds over time. Just think about how compound interest works in a savings account. The more consistent you are with your deposits, no matter how small, the greater the accumulation over time. The same is true in life. Every small, consistent step you take brings you closer to your ultimate goal. The key is to stay committed to the process, even when the results aren't immediately apparent. Consider the example of someone trying to lose weight or improve their health. If they expect to see drastic changes overnight, they're likely to become discouraged when the results don't come as quickly as they hoped. But if they focus on consistent, healthy choices, eating nutritious foods, exercising regularly, getting enough sleep, they will begin to notice gradual improvements over time. The key isn't in making dramatic changes all at once, but in sticking to a routine, making progress each day, and trusting the process. In the same way, building a business, mastering a skill, or achieving personal development goals requires consistent effort. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every day. What you need is a plan and the discipline to follow through, even on days when motivation feels low. It's easy to start something with great energy, but it's the consistency that sustains you when the initial excitement fades away. This is where the power of habits comes in. Consistency is often about creating positive, productive habits that lead you toward your goals. When you make something a habit, you don't have to rely on bursts of motivation to keep going. It becomes second nature. The key to success is not the occasional big push, but the daily commitment to doing the work even when it feels mundane. Each small task completed consistently adds up. Think about the tortoise and the hare, the classic story we all know. The hare started out fast, but his speed wasn't sustainable. He burned out, got distracted, and ultimately lost the race. Meanwhile, the tortoise, who was slow and steady, kept moving forward without stopping. The tortoise may not have been the fastest, but the consistent progress he made was far more valuable in the end. This story is a perfect example of how consistency trumps speed. The tortoise didn't rush, he didn't look for shortcuts. He kept moving at a steady pace, and over time, that's what won him the race. The truth is, speed can be overrated. We often focus so much on the end goal that we forget to appreciate the process. But the process, the journey, is where the growth happens. It's where you develop your skills, strengthen your character, and learn the lessons that will serve you long after the goal has been achieved. If you rush through that process, you risk missing out on the very things that will make you successful in the long run. Moreover, speed can sometimes lead to burnout. When we push ourselves too hard, trying to achieve too much too quickly, we risk exhausting ourselves and losing the passion that initially drove us. This is why consistent, sustainable effort is so crucial. It's about making steady progress without overexerting yourself or sacrificing your well-being. Consistency also brings with it a sense of accountability. When you commit to doing something every day, no matter how small the task, you hold yourself responsible for your own success. This daily commitment, this showing up for yourself, is powerful. It reinforces the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. It cultivates self-discipline and creates a sense of ownership in your progress. Even when it feels like you're moving slowly, you're still showing up, and that's what counts. Over time, consistency builds trust in yourself. It proves to you that you have the ability to follow through, to keep going even when the road is tough, and to persist even when the results aren't immediately visible. The consistency you build today will pay off tomorrow. It's the steady, day-by-day effort that leads to massive results in the long run. So, instead of trying to rush your way to success, shift your focus to consistent action. Every small effort, every step forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment, is laying the groundwork for future success. Trust the process, focus on the journey, not just the destination. And remember, the most successful people aren't necessarily those who rush to the finish line. They're the ones who put in the consistent work, day after day, and let the results compound over time. Patience is a quality that is often undervalued in today's fast-paced world. We live in a society that demands instant results, where everything is expected to happen quickly, from fast food to fast technology, and even to the pace at which we are expected to achieve success. In the age of rapid gratification, the idea of waiting for something can feel frustrating, even uncomfortable. But here's a fundamental truth. Patience is not just a virtue. It is a powerful tool for achieving lasting success. When you learn to trust the process and give yourself the grace to grow at your own pace, you unlock a deeper level of success that cannot be rushed. Patience isn't about being passive or simply waiting without any effort. It's about the ability to stay committed to your goals even when you can't yet see the results. It's the ability to keep working, keep striving, and keep believing, even when progress seems slow or invisible. Patience teaches us that success is not always immediate, and that true growth takes time. It's easy to become discouraged when things aren't moving as quickly as we'd like them to. But what you must understand is that the things worth having take time to build. Whether it's a career, a personal relationship, or a lifelong dream, nothing of lasting value is built overnight. Think about it this way: growth is often happening beneath the surface. Take the example of a tree growing from a seed. The seed may seem small and insignificant at first, and for a long time there's nothing visible above the ground. But beneath the soil, the seed is spreading roots, growing stronger, and preparing to emerge. It's in the waiting that the real transformation happens. The same is true for you. You may not see immediate results, but every action you take, every bit of effort you invest, is laying the foundation for your eventual breakthrough. Patience is not about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about actively trusting the process. It's the understanding that, while results may not come immediately, your efforts are still making a difference. When we rush through life, we often overlook the beauty of the process. We overlook the lessons, the growth, and the wisdom that can only come through time and experience. Patience gives you the chance to learn, to mature, and to gain the perspective necessary to fully appreciate the success that will eventually come your way. We often think of patience in terms of waiting for something we want, waiting for a promotion, a breakthrough, or for our dreams to become reality. But patience is just as important in the waiting for our own development. As we work toward our goals, we are also evolving into the people we need to be to handle those goals. If we rush the process, we risk missing the personal growth that is necessary for long-term success. Patience allows us the space to grow, to build our character, and to develop the resilience we will need when we do achieve our dreams. Think about a craftsman who is building a masterpiece. If they rush the work, the result is likely to be flawed, lacking the precision and attention to detail needed for excellence. The beauty of craftsmanship lies in the time and care spent on every detail. Similarly, in our own lives, the work we put in slowly over time, with care and attention, is what leads to the highest level of achievement. Patience gives us the ability to make thoughtful, deliberate decisions instead of rushing to finish. It's in the careful building, the slow accumulation of effort, that greatness is realized. Another important aspect of patience is understanding the value of delayed gratification. In a world that thrives on instant rewards, learning to delay gratification is essential. When you have the patience to wait for something, you teach yourself to appreciate it more fully when it finally arrives. Imagine the difference between eating a meal that you've rushed to prepare and one that has been cooked slowly, with love and attention. The meal you rushed may satisfy your hunger, but the one that was prepared patiently is more enjoyable, more fulfilling, and more satisfying. The same is true in life. When you give yourself time to achieve your goals, you will enjoy them more deeply because you've allowed yourself the space to truly grow into them. One of the greatest challenges we face is accepting that the road to success is rarely linear. There are bumps, detours, and delays along the way. Patience is what allows us to accept those delays without giving up or losing heart. When things don't go according to plan, it's easy to become frustrated or feel like we're not making progress. But patience teaches us that setbacks are not failures, they are part of the journey. It's in those moments of waiting, of enduring, that we often learn the most valuable lessons. Patience builds perspective. It helps us see that the path we are on is just as important as the destination. We also need to remember that everyone's journey is different. It's easy to compare ourselves to others, especially when we see someone else achieving success more quickly than we are. But comparison only robs us of the patience we need to grow at our own pace. Everyone's timing is different, and your path may take longer, but that doesn't mean you're behind. In fact, it may be that the time you are spending developing your skills, building your foundation, and learning important lessons is exactly what will make you more successful in the long run. The key to patience is to trust that things are unfolding as they should. Trust that the right opportunities will come when you are ready for them, and that every step you take now is preparing you for what lies ahead. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your progress, and know that, when the time is right, all the pieces will come together. The rewards that come from patience are far more lasting and meaningful than those that come from rushing to the finish line. Success built on patience is success that will endure. When we talk about slow progress, it's important to recognize that the journey toward any meaningful goal is rarely a straight line. There are twists, turns, and obstacles along the way, and the road can feel much longer than we expect. But celebrating small victories is a crucial element of sustaining momentum, especially when the end goal feels distant. It is those small, incremental successes that build the confidence, energy, and motivation necessary to continue on the journey, even when the larger achievement seems far out of reach. When you take the time to acknowledge the small wins, you remind yourself that progress is happening, even if it doesn't always look the way you envisioned it. Small victories are the foundation upon which you can build a greater sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Every time you make progress, whether it's completing a task, reaching a milestone, or simply pushing through a difficult day, you are strengthening your resolve. These victories, though they may seem insignificant on their own, add up over time. They are the building blocks of larger achievements. If you only focus on the end result, you may miss the joy and satisfaction that comes from those small moments of success. However, by celebrating them, you gain the emotional and psychological fuel to keep moving forward. Consider the example of a person who is working to improve their health. Instead of focusing solely on the goal of losing a certain amount of weight, they should celebrate the small victories. Each time they make a healthy meal choice, each time they choose to exercise, or even when they pass up an unhealthy temptation. These moments of progress are just as important as the ultimate weight loss goal. In fact, celebrating them creates a sense of achievement that encourages more positive behavior in the future. Small victories are psychological reinforcement that remind you that you are capable, and they keep you moving in the right direction, even when progress feels slow. The reason small victories matter is because they give us the motivation to keep going, even when the bigger goal seems unreachable. Think about how you would feel if you were constantly working towards something, but never stopped to appreciate how far you've come. You would burn out quickly, and the path would feel overwhelming. But by taking time to acknowledge the little wins, you create a sense of accomplishment that lifts your spirits and reminds you that you are moving forward. It allows you to celebrate the effort and the progress itself, not just the outcome. In addition, small victories help you maintain a sense of self-efficacy, the belief that you can achieve your goals. Every small success you experience builds your confidence, teaching you that even if things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like, you are still capable of making progress. When you encounter setbacks or periods where progress seems to slow down, the small victories serve as reminders of what you've already accomplished, and they provide the motivation to keep going. It's easy to forget how far you've come when you're focused on how far you have to go. Celebrating these victories prevents you from losing sight of the progress you've made, no matter how small it seems in comparison to your final goal. Moreover, small victories can help you stay grounded in the present moment. Often, we are so focused on the future, on where we want to be, that we overlook the present. By celebrating each small victory, we become more aware of the progress we're making right now, and this can create a sense of contentment and fulfillment that is independent of the larger goal. This approach also helps to reduce stress, anxiety, and impatience, which are common when we feel that progress is too slow. Appreciating the present and the small steps you're taking toward your goal reduces the pressure to always be striving for something bigger and allows you to embrace the journey itself. In this sense, small victories become a source of momentum. As you accumulate these wins, no matter how small, you create a positive feedback loop. Each victory, whether it's completing a small task or pushing through a difficult moment, generates positive emotions, which in turn fuel more progress. This momentum propels you forward, making it easier to take the next step and the next. Eventually, all of these small wins will add up to significant progress. But without acknowledging and celebrating them, it's easy to lose sight of the forward motion. Small victories also give you the permission to feel proud of yourself. We often wait until we've reached our big goal to acknowledge our achievements, but this can set us up for disappointment because the big goal can feel like it's forever out of reach. By celebrating smaller accomplishments, we create a more sustainable and fulfilling sense of achievement. Each time you celebrate a victory, you are acknowledging your hard work, your persistence, and your dedication. This positive reinforcement is vital for maintaining motivation, as it helps you stay connected to the why behind your goals. Furthermore, small victories allow you to reflect on the lessons learned throughout the process. Each victory, even if it's small, carries with it valuable insights. Maybe you learned a new skill, discovered a better way of doing something, or found a new source of motivation. When you celebrate these moments, you're giving yourself the chance to appreciate the growth that happens along the way. The process of reaching your goal is just as important as the destination, and every small victory is an opportunity to recognize that. Ultimately, by celebrating small victories, you are embracing the idea that progress doesn't always have to be grand to be meaningful. Every step forward, no matter how small, is still a step in the right direction. And over time, those small steps accumulate into something much larger. Don't wait until the end to celebrate. Instead, take pride in the small wins along the way, because they are the milestones that mark your journey toward success. When you embrace each victory, no matter its size, you create a mindset of perseverance, gratitude, and growth. In conclusion, slow progress is not only better than no progress, it is the foundation upon which lasting success is built. It's easy to get caught up in the allure of quick results and immediate gratification, but true growth and achievement take time. Every small step, every moment of perseverance, and every victory, no matter how small, adds up over time. It is in the consistent effort, the patience to wait, and the ability to celebrate the small wins along the way that you lay the groundwork for something truly extraordinary. Remember, success is not a sprint but a marathon, and every inch you move forward, no matter how slow, is an inch closer to your goal. Your journey is unique, and there will be times when progress feels slow. But that's when you must trust the process, keep your faith in the small victories, and understand that this gradual growth is where the real transformation happens. As you move forward, embrace the journey, honor your progress, and celebrate the wins along the way. Because slow progress, consistent effort, and patience will always lead to something greater than you ever imagined. Keep moving forward, one step at a time, and success will follow you as sure as the dawn follows the night.